these additional columns. So everyone interested to know when the record is loaded. So whenever they are interested to know that kind of information, we need to have load date column. There is nothing but pipeline trigger pipeline trigger time. So this is a pipeline trigger time is a system variable. What is this? System variable, pipeline system variable it is. Now, second one, we also learned about how to provide name of the pipeline. Name of the pipeline. Okay, like this, we did some of the things we did it yesterday. Then we went for how to do the free copy script. Something before loading, you want to do something, how you can do that one. So that's what we did. So that's called as free copy script. We did it. So free copy script. Okay, the free copy script, we return truncate table, we return truncate table, then table name, then we provide something like this. So it always will be truncating the table and loading the data. That kind of free copy script we did it. And also we know by this time what is the difference between insert and upset, those differences. So we are aware of now insert versus upset. We are aware of insert versus upset. So in upset, we have in the word itself, we have up and set. There is nothing but update plus insert. So update plus insert. So that's how this update is available. We learned the upset, how it is working. Now, these are the major topics what we learned yesterday. And any loading you do, the is it correct or not? Always we need to go to the database table and we have to test it. Until you test the data, you should not confirm, okay, whatever load is happened, correct or not. Okay, always you have to go to the database. I mean, whatever target is available, the target, and confirm whatever you loaded, is it properly loaded or not. Okay, now next one we want to go for a create pipeline from blob to blob. This is much simple actually. Even I can give as a homework to you people. Only change is earlier we are trying to move the data from blob to Azure SQL database. Today we are trying to move from one blob to another blob maybe. Okay, we want to move the data from one blob to another blob maybe. Or I maybe want to move the data from one blob to one blob, then one container to same blob, same blob, same blob, another container maybe another container. Okay, so it's also possible you can go and you can take as one blob, then one folder. Okay, one blob, one container, then one folder. Okay, two, we can go and we can do the same blob, same blob, same blob, then same container, maybe another folder, maybe another folder. So something like this, you can do it. N number of ways are available. You can go and you can do it. In the same container also, we can select the different files, you can select it. In the same folders, different files, you can select it. Now we go and try to do here in our contest, let's say create pipeline from blob to blob. So we are trying to take here, select source data set as src underscore emp and select sync dataset as tzt underscore emp1. Looks like I'm creating within the blob only, within the container, within the folder, I'm creating it. Okay, but I would like to go for different blob. I would like to go. Let us go and try to configure different blob and do it. So I have already one blob is available. This is the one blob is available. Inside the blob, I have one container. Inside this container, I have one folder. Inside this folder, I have one file. This file I want to use as a input. Even on top of this one, I do have the data set, and the data set is pointed to the linked service. The linked service is running using Azure integration runtime. I want to create one more blob. I want to create it. Let us go and try to duplicate it. So I duplicated this page. I don't want to disturb this one. So I duplicated. I want to create one new blob. I want to create it. Go to the home. Then I'm trying to create a new blob. Let us go to the storage accounts. Then click on create. Then we are trying to create here. We are trying to create here a blob. Let's go and try to say as okay, storage account. Then we are trying to create here blob 2. So I'm saying as the name as blob 2. So already we have one blob. So second blob we are trying to create it. So let us go and try to select this as a LRS. Then click create here. Click on the review and create it. So it's going to create one blob. It is going to create it. Click on create. Right. So once it is created the blob, I would like to create here even one container. Okay, let us go and try to create one container. It's deploying in progress. Meanwhile, I can also explain the Excel what we are trying to take here. Yeah, it's open anyhow. Now I'm trying to go to the resource. Now we have here storage account blob 2. Click on here blob service. Then we want to create here one container. So give this container name as let's say C underscore C hyphen blob hyphen. Then we are trying to say as a blob 2. Then hyphen. We are saying as a uh, output container, for example. So we are trying to say as a C blob to output. Now click on here create. Container is created. Inside the container, as of now, nothing is available. Using this container and all, I want to create here one data set I want to create. One linked service also I want to create. First task, which is the first task? This one I have to use means the space I have to use means I have to create the linked service and all, right? So let us go and try to create a linked service on top of this blob. Then only I can able to use this as a target. So first let us go and try to create a linked service. We are going to the here, then at this location already it is there. Okay, already we have the ADF. Let us go and try to do the ADF. Then where I have to go? I have to create the linked service means. Please guide me. I opened already ADF. Where I need to go to create the linked service to this new blob. So go to where I want to create the linked service. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, author.
Where I need manage. Okay. So if you go to the manage, there we have the linked service. So we have already one linked service. This is for SARR Tech Dev, other blob. Now I want to create here one new one. Let us go and try to create new. So this is for Azure Blob Storage. Click on continue. Now this is linked service. This is linked service for blob 2. We are trying to do it. So the blob 2 name is SA blob 2 is our name. Okay, linked service to the SA blob 2, let us say. Now we are trying to select here account key from Azure subscriptions, then select our subscription, then storage accounts. Two storage accounts may appear because I have two storage accounts are available. This is the first one what we created. This is the second one what we have. Now select the second one what we created, then say as a test the connection. It must be pass. So you can verify here. It's going to be pass. Once it is passed, we can confirm. Okay, it's saying as connection is successful. Click on create. We created linked service. We created. Now next is using this linked service. Using this linked service, I want to create one data set. And tell me this linked service is using what type of integration runtime it is using. It is using what type of integration runtime it is using? Auto resolve integration runtime. Auto resolve integration runtime is nothing but Azure. Is nothing but what? Azure. Okay. Now you understand the linked service internally using in- the linked service internally using integration runtime. Okay, cool. Now I want to create here one data set I want to create. To create the data set, go to author. Then we have here data sets. And this data set I am trying to create for the purpose of target. So I'm going for the target folder, for example. Then I'm trying to say as new data set. Create it, new data set. Then we are trying to say blob. So Azure Blob Storage using, we are trying to create it. I want to create here delimited file. Click on continue. Now give the name of this as, okay, we want to go for data set and it's a target purpose. I'm going to use it. And the target name is I'm giving as, let's say TEMP we are giving. Okay, now I want to provide here linked service. Uh, Here linked service is equal, this is the linked service. Then container path, those things is expecting. Let's go and try to select here container, but we don't have here as of now folder. As we don't have the folder, so folder will be empty. I'm deciding otherwise the folder I'm deciding here. So let us go and try to say as a, okay, it's a C-blob2, then blob2, then we are saying as TZT folder, TZT folder. Suppose something like this I given. Now file name is expecting, you can give the file name anything. We are providing temp.csv is the file name we are giving. And first row as header, okay, we are going to select this one, first row as header. And this time, is it this file is already available, this folder and this file already available? This folder and this file, is it already available here? C blob 2.
No.
If you go and try to observe, we don't have it. As we don't have it, this option, whatever we have here, import from connection or store, we should not select. We need to select here none. Then click on OK. In the runtime, we are going to create these things. We are going to create it. Click on OK. Now we created here object. Let's go and try to say as publish. This is publishing here one data set we created. Wow, beautiful. Now we have here source data set is available. This is our source data set. We have the plan and we have the target data set is available. This is our target data set. We have the plan. Okay, now using this one to this one, I want to push the data using the pipeline copy activity. Using the pipeline copy activity. Let us go and try to do that one. So we are going here author again. Then we have the pipelines. We created 7 a.m. pipelines we created. Looks like two pipelines we already created. Now I want to create a new pipeline. Let's go and try to say as third one, new pipeline. Okay, or you can go and you can modify existing one also you can modify. Okay, now I'll go and try to better, I'll modify existing one because there is no change in the source, right? Do I have any change in the source? No. So instead of again configuring, I can go and I can clone this one. I cloned it. Now we are saying as load data from blob to what is this? Blob, another blob, otherwise another blob. Now I changed the name. Now, once we change the name, go and try to modify the properties here. Let me minimize this. Then whatever we have here, copy data activity. This copy data activity source we will not touch because source is same we are using. Target we are going to touch. Target is not our Azure SQL database. Target I want to use as a my flat file. So at that purpose, we have dataset already available. What is the dataset? TS, TZT, TMP. This is the dataset what we created. Is it or not to confirm? Again, you can open here, click on open, and you can observe the properties and all. By observing the properties, you come to know this is right one or wrong one. Once you confirmed, you can go and you can close that. Wow, beautiful. Nothing much you need to do. We configure target dataset as this blob file we selected. Okay, remaining properties all keep as it is. There is no change. Then go and try to say as publish all. So now we are trying to publish it, published. Now, once as you are published already, if you want, you can use the trigger option also. Before publishing, always you have to use what? Debug. After publishing, either you can use debug or you can use trigger, whatever you want it. Now, as it's already published, I can go and I can trigger if I want. I can go and I can say trigger now. If I say trigger now, it is going to be pipeline run. It is happening. Trigger pipeline now using the last published configurations. Click on OK. Now it is going to run. The run things we can able to see only in the monitor tab. In case of debug, here itself output it is creating, right? Here itself we are able to see the output tab. In that one we can able to see what is in the queue, what is happening. Those all things we can able to see here itself. But whenever you do the trigger details you are going to see using monitor. Click on the monitor. Then in the monitor we'll see two tabs. One is called as trigger tab. Second is called as debug tab. In the trigger tab, you can notice we have here just now one pipeline is ran. This ran at the time of 327, that is today's date. 327 it ran. And you can see the status. What is the status of this one? Succeeded. The status of this one is what? Succeeded. We have the run start and run end is available. How much duration it is taken, everything information we have it. Now I want to observe more information of this one. Click on this. Once you click on this one, there is going to show you the pipeline, and below that one we have here the activity details. The activity we used is copy activity. The copy activity name is this one. We passed here what is the information. We passed the information our source we passed as a delimited test service, and it is a Azure blob. And we passed here sync information. There is nothing but target information. We passed it. What is our target also? Azure blob. Our target also what? Azure blob. Source as well as target both are Azure blobs only we selected. Okay. This is we are trying to do here read. This is we are trying to do here. What is this? Write. Now you see in the bottom now some of the options whatever you provided we are able to see it. Let me close this. Then go to the this detail information, click on the details. Here we'll able to observe files read is 1. Oh, good. Files written is 1. The number of files read, the number of files written it's showing. If it is written files properly, then you can able to see in this location. Let me refresh. Here we have the refresh button. Click on the refresh. Before refreshing, are you seeing any folder here? Are you seeing any folder here? No. If I click on the refresh, you'll be able to see one folder. Yes, we are seeing one folder. Inside the folder, we can also able to see one file. This file, the access type is hot. That means we are going to use regularly. That's what it means. Now click on here, temporary TEMP, that is target EMP. There you can click on the edit and you can notice here, we got the data as expected. Okay, we have the everything, we have the data. Wow, beautiful. Now we understand the activity that is called as how to do the create a pipeline from one blob to another blob. Any questions in this one? Create pipeline from blob to blob. No, right? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the next one. Then we have here next one. We learned till now integration runtimes. Only one integration runtime we learned, that is called as Azure. That is called as Azure. Even whatever it is completed now, this one, if you go and try to observe what type of integration runtime it is using, it is going to show it here. The meter type is equal to Azure integration runtime. The meter type is equal to Azure integration runtime. We selected auto resolve integration runtime. We selected auto resolve integration runtime means system is going to select here Azure integration runtime. It is going to select it. Okay, that property is very important. Okay, till now we used only all resources are cloud resources. Blob is sitting inside the Azure cloud only. Azure SQL database also sitting inside the Azure cloud only. If the resources are if the resources are inside the cloud, then I can able to manage using Azure integration runtime. I can able to manage it. I can able to manage Azure integration runtime if resources are available in the Azure cloud. If my resource is available in the private network, in the private network, in the personal laptops, then what we are going to do it. That's what this activity we are going to learn about it. Suppose install SQL Server. What I'm trying to say is, you need to install SQL Server database free of cost. Community version is available free of cost. You can go and you can install it. To install this one, follow this documentation. Let me go and try to open this link in new tab. Then it is opening my other course called as Power BI course. In the Power BI course, I explained here how to install the SQL Server. To install the SQL Server, you need to go for download SQL Server developer edition here. If you go to this website, there is an option called as here try SQL Server on premise. On premise means what? Inside our laptop. Now in bottom you'll see two variants. One is developer, second is express. In the developer is the one what you are going to install it. In the developer you also see very interesting one, full featured free edition we are going to get here. Full featured free edition we are going to get here. So you can happily install inside our laptop, you can install it. Now, click on this download now. Once you download now, we are going to get something like this exe file. We are going to get it. SQL 2019 SS SQL Server. EI means enterprise integration. Then development. We are going to get it. Now, double click on this one. Then we are going to get here basic custom download media. Select the basic. Then go for here and accept the licensing agreements. Accept it. Once you accept it, it's going to install by default in the C drive program files like this. Let it be, don't change anything here. Then go for here also nothing to change. It's saying as installation has completed successfully. Okay, that much easily we can install it. I think in previous lessons already we installed SSMS. In previous lessons when I was explaining Azure SQL database, we already installed SSMS. Now let me open in my case how to open the SQL Server database and all. Suppose in my mission, as it is already available, I can go and I can open very easily. I can able to open. So go to here, search. In the search, just type here, first confirm services.msc. We have services available inside the Windows based mission. If you go to the services, there you can notice SQL Server is already installed and it might be running. You can notice here something SQL Server and it is running or not. You can notice SQL Server, is it running in my mission? Is it available inside the cloud or it is available inside my laptop?
Laptop.
Yeah.
Inside your laptop.
Yeah, that means it is a private network or it is a cloud network.
Private network, but
Yeah,
connect.
it's a private network. Yeah. It's as of now it's private network. How to connect those things later. So SQL Server, SQL Server installed installed in my laptop. So it is private network. It is private network. That means That means on premise. That means what? On premise. So if I on premise is available, Azure integration runtime cannot do the activities. So we have to go for integration runtime. We have to go the integration runtime. We need to learn is what? Self host integration runtime. We need to learn about it. Okay, before going for that one, okay, as for our activity, we are saying here, I want to use SQL Server as a source or target. You can notice here, create pipeline from Blob to MS SQL Server. That means I want to use SQL Server as a source or target. I want to use as a target. I want to use as a target. Okay, but still I want to go and I want to understand what are the database are available inside this one, those information. To understand about more, let's go and try to type here SSMS. SSMS is a tool to access our SQL Server in a user-friendly way. Okay, right. SSMS is going to open SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server Management Studio. Now, people who are aware of other tools, generic tools are available in the market. So if you want to use DBeaver kind of thing, I have no issues. You can go ahead and you can use that tool also. Okay, in my case, I'm using the tool that is called as SSMS I'm using. So let it open. Let it open. It is opening links. Yeah. Now it's opened here. Now let's go and try to connect it. I'm trying to say as connect to this one, connect to my local one. Let's go for the local host. Local host means what? My computer. Local host means what? My computer. Local host means nothing but my computer. I'm using even Windows authentication I'm using, and we are trying to say as a username and password as Windows authentication related, we are saying it. So RRITech is my computer name. Ramreddy Maila is my username. So we are providing same thing. Then we are trying to say connect. Now it's connected and we can able to observe here bunch of databases available inside the databases folder. Okay, you can notice I have the databases one, two, three, so many databases are available, right? Till here we have the databases. If you think like, okay, I want to create my own database for this purpose, you can go ahead and you can do it. Or you want to use the existing database, for example, RRITs, DB is available. If you want to use it, you can use it. If you think like you want to create your own database means you can create it, go to the new query, then all you have to say is create, then database, then what is the name of the database. So I want to provide the name of the database as okay DB7am for the purpose of ADF we are created. Something like this I given. Now go and try to click on here execute, then it will be executed and create this one. Execute. Now you can notice in the bottom command completed successfully. As it is successful, if you right click in the databases, then say as refresh. Now you can see in the bottom one database will be created. Let's say DB7am we have here. If I expand this one, then I expand the tables also. Are you seeing any tables here as of now? Are you seeing any tables here as of now? No. I want to use this database as a target I want to use, and in the runtime I want to create a table I want to create it. Okay, this one we are going to use it to configure to our linked service, those all things. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's go and try to create here. First, I need to start our journey. First, I need to start our journey with integration runtime because I don't have the integration runtime called as self-host. I don't have it, right? So first we need to create here integration runtime. We have to create it. Go to the ADF. Then we have to go to where is that? Manage. Then in the manage, we have to go for here integration runtimes. As of now, we have already one thing. This is something to do with the cloud. Now go and try to create here new. Then we are going for here integration runtime setup. Integration runtime is the native compute used to execute or dispatch activities. Click on here Azure self-hosted. Okay, before going for this one, even I have the doubt. In previous batches, I might be already created a self-host integration runtime. I might be created. See here? No, not that one. It's not there. It's not there means well and good. Let's see if it is there already. It's going to throw error. Already we have the integration runtime, something like that. Okay, at the moment you can uninstall it. Now we are selecting as of now Azure self-hosted. You can read the description here. Perform data flows, data movement, and dispatch activities to external computing. We are trying to do what? External compute. Now, in our case, external compute is our SQL server. The SQL server is available in my local laptop. It's available. This is my external compute, whatever available. Okay, right? External storage or external compute. Now, we are going here and we are trying to select here self-host. Then say as click on continue. Now we have here integration runtime setup. Two ways we can able to set up this one. That means we are giving indirectly permissions to Azure cloud to access my database which is sitting inside my laptop. Choose the network environment of the source, destination, or external compute to which the integration runtime will connect to for data flows, data movements, and dispatch activities. So I have here Azure and self-hosted. Two things are there. We are selected self-hosted. We are selecting. Then say as click on continue. Now it's saying as integration runtime setup. Provide the name it is asking. I am trying to provide here integration runtime IR. Then we are trying to say as a self, then hosted. I can give any name, I can provide it. Then type is equal to self-hosted. Then click on create. Even if you want to write further, what is the purpose of this? Only created SQL server purpose you are creating, right? Okay. Now say as click on here create. So the moment you say click on create, there are two ways we have in the setup. One is called as express setup. Second is called as manual setup. Now go for your express setup. System will take care everything. Okay, manual setup means keys. These are all things you have to configure manually. You have to configure. Now, so install the integration runtime on Windows machine or add further nodes using the authentication key. Now, I want to go for here. Click here to launch the express setup for this computer. Click on this one. Then it is going for AR, AMS. Then go and try to open this. Now we try to install this one. So loading the configurations. Now something is problem. It's saying as is already installed. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. It's saying as Microsoft integration runtime Salesforce is already installed on this computer. In the previous batches, I might be already installed it. Okay, if it as already installed, just for our convenience purpose, we can go and we can uninstall and we can do it. Let us go and try to select this, search it, Microsoft integration runtime. Go for here, how to uninstall it. Uninstall will happen from the programs. Let's go to the all programs, then view all programs. Add or remove programs. In the add or remove programs, you see the self-hosted. Yeah, Microsoft integration runtime we have here. There you can go and you can uninstall it. So we are trying to do the uninstall. Preparing to remove. You can see the size and all. It is a 3.85 GB. May take some time. This one temporarily I am closing. I am right. I will initiate later. The following application should be closed before continuing the install. Cloud Data Engineering Microsoft Teams. The following should be closed before continuing the install. Oh, it's asking about Microsoft Teams to be closed. Ignore. Okay. Now we can go and we can observe now, is it perfectly uninstalled or not? Now, are you seeing here integration runtime? No, we're not seeing integration runtime. Go and try to install it as it is completed. So what it is going on. So we can go and we can install it. There is the integration runtime software. Before this has to go off. Right. Looks like that is completed uninstalling perfectly now. Let us go and try to install it now. So we are in the downloads folder. This is where it is download the software. Double click on it, then try to install it now. This time where it is loading the configuration, it may not fail. Now see here, it is not failing. Previously in the step itself, it's failed. Now it's actually downloading the integration runtime. Then it will go further installing integration runtime, then registering integration runtime. So these are the steps what will be happening as part of this one. Okay, once it is completed, we have readily now integration runtime will be available. Once we have the integration runtime in place, then what is the next step? Once we have the integration runtime in place, what is the next step? Once this is completed, we have the integration runtime will be available. Then using this integration runtime, we have to create what? Linked service. Then we have to create data set, then go for the pipeline, whatever we have it. These are the steps what we are going to follow. So it's trying to download. Generally, I will not uninstall and install. This time somehow I did it. It's taking some time. Let it. Meanwhile, we'll go and try to observe some other things and we come back. So we are going here. Then you can observe this screen. We want to use Blob as a input. And we are trying to use SQL Server as a output. We are trying to use it. So Blob is available inside the cloud and SQL Server is available inside my laptop. So to communicate from cloud to our local one, we have to use a separate integration runtime that is called as self-hosted integration runtime we are using because we have here on-premise one is involved here. That is the reason we went and we are trying to uninstall and install the self-hosted. We are trying to do it. Okay, still it is going on. Once it is completed, then we can able to move forward.